Most people are buying the coins that are guaranteed to go to zero, and they don't even realize it. If you actually want to win in this market, you have to own coins that you can hold and that can still outperform 99% of the coins in this market. Today, I'm breaking down to buy top meme coins right now for these bounce. And more importantly, the ones that don't need perfect timing or constant managing. Because the more actions you have to perform with your portfolio, the higher the chance you lose. I'll show you the difference between memes that quietly grow in time and things that just go to zero and take your money. Stick around because the last coin I will show you is the one I would actually plan to hold for the whole cycle. Let's get into today's video. Now, I want you to understand that we are at the crucial point in the crypto market at this stage. A lot of coins are very close to the bottoms, and even if you have seen the bounces on some of them, in the full bull scenario, these bounces, they won't matter. They won't matter overall. Crucially important thing is to actually allocate your capital properly at this stage. This is pretty much $1 million question. And what are the assets that will be moving up the most? What are the assets that will be providing the highest amount of access possible? Most likely, these are meme coins, the way we have seen them doing very, very well in the last year of 2024 as well. And the real question, because meme coins are very, very tricky, there are two different categories of them. One of them are memes that you can just buy, you can just hold, and they will just appreciate over time greatly. Usually they should have some underlying catalyst, some narrative that is connected to these meme coins that actually allows for them to grow infinitely, right? This is a very, very important thing. The second thing are meme coins that are appearing on a daily basis, the whole goal of which is just to suck out your liquidity, just to take your money, and then reposition this money into some other projects that these people think are actually going to do quite well. You have to actually be very, very careful. If you're playing these meme coins, you still can make some money with them. It's just the fact that the game is rigged against you. Something I actually wanted to tell on this point. I actually know someone who was able to accumulate 3% of the Boba supply in the bear market. And you have to understand, nothing was happening with Boba for quite some time. We had Solana meme season. We had a bunch of altcoins pumping. We had BTC ecosystem running. And Boba just was dead through all of these times. It only started to pump closer to the end of February, where we were already like 4 months into the bull market, and arguably it was the second wave. So this guy, at least, he was able to hold his 3% of the supply that he was able to accumulate in the bear market until this point, which is already like a great thing out there. There were definitely a bunch of people that were actually buying Boba in the bear market, but they sold out of it because of the things that were happening. They were trying to trade, and what essentially happened to them is that they out-traded and lost in Solana at the time, because it was definitely flourishing, it was definitely going up, as well as Bitcoin ecosystem, because it was also a casino of sorts that was present. I think is lost because of the lack of proper user experience on the mother chain out there. So what happened with this 3% of the supply? I want to tell you that at the absolute top of Boba, at $250 million in market cap, this 3% of the supply that he actually accumulated in the bear market, probably for $50,000 tops, it was $7.5 million. The question you might have, did this guy actually was able to get his $7.5 million? Nah. You know what he did? On the first pump, when Boba bumped to $10-14 million, he just sold out of it. Probably started to play in different memes and things like that. Probably won big on some other things. Learning from the experience, learning the fact that he actually has and needs to hold out there. But definitely there were some losses. I do think 100% that he would be making way more money if he would just be holding his Boba and having his back at the tops of 7.5 million. Obviously selling the top, it's very, very hard in the first place as well, right? But this is just a very interesting and profound point out there. And that's something I'm trying to preach. That's something I'm trying to say, is that the biggest regret that you would actually have is not holding the asset that you bought, and not just buying in size. Because imagine buying $50,000 of Boba in the bear market. Who actually did that? I did not even do it. I bought probably like $20,000-$25,000 of it, right? And my entry points, like, they were not the ideal, right? Just hold what you bought. This is the main thing out there. And now we're coming to this question that there are truly two different type of meme coins, and things I want you to focus on is memes that actually have certain catalysts that would just go up and grow over time. One point of them is that probably a lot of them are on Ethereum. Probably some of them are on something like Hyperliquid, right? These ecosystems that will be receiving a bunch of liquidity. The question you might have, are there meme coins like that on Solana, right? I would say it's a bit complex. And the purpose of this video is actually to explain the situation that we do have there at this stage. It's probably quite connected to Murat thesis out there, and that's why I wanted just to give a bit more clarity. So all will retire. Something I was talking about slightly before, right? And I actually have the interview with the founder of this coin on my channel too. It's a very interesting thing because it actually just a community of retail normies, as you would say, just saying that we will all retire with buying this coin, right? We're just buying and holding this coin. It's kind of like this interesting, like a try to reshape, rebirth the Bitcoin out there. It's a very, very interesting thing. And when I'm thinking about the communities on Solana, when I'm thinking about coins on Solana that actually would be able to grow infinitely, they would have infinite appeal. They don't have this like short term, like for example, right now we have something like Troll pumping like crazy. This is, I think, a different version of Troll. Yeah, so this version of Troll, it's kind of correcting from the all-time highs it actually said before. Do you think Troll will be alive on this market in a year from now? It's definitely hard to say. Yeah, it's an OG meme and things like that, but it's still launched by these default Solana people out there. I do have a feeling that something like All Will Retire actually would have way better chance in terms of being on the market at this stage through all of this time, right? It's quite hard to tell you to enter at these levels. It pumped like nicely. I would expect a bit more profit taking from these levels, right? And the second type of coins out there, I would want to focus on AI coins on Sol, right? Because they're just AI projects. AI had a crazy run, and we already have seen things like Alch, the things like Dark doing really well. And the underlying beacon that would essentially help for these projects to push is essentially the fact that these projects have some technology behind them. It's easier to hold them. It's easier to justify crazy valuations that these AI projects essentially would have at a point of time, right? So these are the projects I think you should actually focus on in terms of Solana meme coin scene. Something that we can also talk about are all the projects on Sol, and it's a huge question at this stage. Which ones of them would actually be able to recover to previous all-time highs? This is $1 million question out there. The general setup on the marketplace is that everything that is happening with these older coins bouncing is just psyop, and they're never coming back. But some of them they definitely will. We already do see Farcoin kind of leading this race out there, and truly $1 million question, which coins are actually going to have an option to recover from these older cult-like communities like Michi, Mini, Gecko, all this type of good stuff, all this type of called Solana meme coins out there, with Popcat probably leading this race because all of the memes I essentially mentioned are cat memes in the first place. So Self is essentially one of them, which I do believe would have a chance to have its recovery in the market. So again, I'm talking about things that you can just buy and hold, and these are the things that will be providing the highest amount of returns in comparison to all the things that are happening out there. We do have new coins and this new meta of memes 2.0 trying to kind of take on this narrative and come up with a new list of coins that actually have a chance for people to hold them and actually have a chance to just grow higher and higher over time. Troll is essentially the biggest successful experiment out of that. Yi is definitely one of them as well. We do have the version on Sol, we do have the version on Ethereum. They are consolidating, nothing is happening for them at this stage essentially. And something I want to kind of move at this stage into is something like bread, right? So bread is definitely a coin, and I was mentioning it to you like at $200 million, at $300 million in market cap. This is definitely the coin that probably most of the market sees at this stage as something that is capable to recover. It has the support of one of the biggest influencers in crypto who is crashed at this stage, right? It's correcting since yesterday, but most memes they essentially are correcting since this resistance that we faced. I do actually believe that this correction should extend, and I do believe that we shall be seeing a corrective end of the weekend, as usual, as we have seen it through all of the weeks out there, despite this one. Hence, we had the pumpage out there, right? So bread is actually only like 4x away from the all-time highs at this stage, which is Pretty insane, guys. Like, if you would only have entered here, Brett was 8x away from the all-time highs. Right now, it's already 4x away from the all-time highs, right? So the upside here is definitely limited. But if you think about memes that you would actually just be able to buy and hold, this is one of them. And the strategy to outperform is just take a huge chunk of your portfolio, buy into something like this, and just hold. This is the winning strategy out there, 100%. This thing proved itself. And I do believe that the setup that you have on Brad is way better than the setup that you have on these older Solana meme coins. Just because of the fact that I do think that team here is better, they have better intentions, and they also should have slightly more supply control than these Sol meme coins essentially have at this stage. Something that you actually might be able to look into on Ethereum is Boba, right? Boba is pretty much printing the exact same chart as most of the memes out there. It reached this resistance level, and right now it's slightly rejected. But again, at this point of time, this rejection is a very, very weak one. This might signalize two things. Either there is a true real demand in the marketplace and we are continuing from here, or current market participants think that there is a demand on the marketplace and that's why they're not dumping much. But if we would essentially go lower, they will still dump, and this thing, as other meme coins out there, will dump as well. But again, something I was sharing in previous videos, would it really matter on a long enough time frame that you bought Boba at $20 million, $15 million, $25 million, $30 million? Probably not much, to be honest. And now I actually want to go into the list of low caps, and I actually want to teach you how to fish in this case. This is a very, very stupid, simple setup that I'm doing from my end, but it often helps to set up some things and see some things that are pumping, right? That are not present on the marketplace and that not visible out there oftentimes. So what I'm essentially doing here, I'm making sure that I'm checking out older coins with the max market cap at $2.5 million out there, right? So then I just sort by 24 hours, and I don't want to check Sol here because I do understand that on Sol, most likely these things, they will die out in several days from there. I would like to check Ethereum. And I would like for you to also see the current picture that we have. For example, we have this meme keg that I know pretty well. We have Sneebo, we have ST, have Froge, right? We have some other things. I also want to open up something like Beer Frog, right? Something that we were talking about, I do believe, at the end of the year of 2024, right? So it kind of starts to try to print these lower highs and things like that, right? Slight recoveries we're seeing right here. You can also see. And on the big chart, like, it just seems as very, very small points, but at the same time, we went from 900K on this one to 1.9 million, which is a 2x. Right now, we're correcting since these levels, right? ST. Same thing is happening with ST, which is a real name of Shiba Inu dog, right? So there was also this second project, which is dead because it was launched by Capable. There was never any community, and they essentially lost. So ST, I think, is actually one of the great Shiba coin meme plays. I do believe I actually would want to buy some myself right now as I'm talking to you, right? And in comparison to others, it just started the expansion. So from my point of view, it did not face the resistance yet. So yeah, this one I actually just saw. I think this one might be interesting. Obviously, depending on the fact the community is alive or not, but a lot of charts of Ethereum meme coins, they actually look like this. The all-time high of this thing was at $6 to $7 million. I do believe it was just wave 1, and we shall be entering on wave 3, the uptrend wave 3. So like wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, which should be way higher than wave 1 of the uptrend for these meme coins. We also have seen Sneebo, something like Sneebo pumping 30 to 40% since the bottoms of yesterday. Pretty much just did a catch up to all the coins that were previously available on the market. The reason I'm sharing all these pics is because I know that these are good OG old Ethereum memes. And yes, you would have to hold. Yes, they don't have as much volumes as memes on Solana out there, but over time, 99% of people would actually make more money if they would just buy into these things and if they just would hold. This is it. The main thing is just to figure out like if the community is there. But on ETH, it's quite interesting because with slight movements on Ethereum, like retail market is not buying Ethereum at this stage. They're mostly trying to loan, and they leave this opportunity to buy Ethereum for institutions out there, right? So with each and every Ethereum pump, these things, they're actually going to go higher as well. And the interesting thing with them is that like you don't have a lot of competition out there. You have these older projects, and if you would ask me like, do you think older Sol coins are going to return, or do you think all the Ethereum coins are going to return? I have much more confidence in the thought that all the Ethereum coins should be returning in comparison to older Solana coins out there. So the piece of alpha I actually wanted to focus you on during this video is that play in these stupid short-term games only with a small portion of your portfolio that you're comfortable with. Make sure that bets that you have with the bigger portion of your portfolio, they're actually concentrated. Don't buy like 5, 10, 15 coins. Concentrate them. Have 2 to 3 coins. Ideally, just have one. Just have a giant back in one. Yes, it's the most risky thing, but this is the way. If you listen to all these stories, how people made millions in stock markets, it's all these stories all the time. They just had conviction, took all the money, and they put on one stock. And just imagine the level of research. Just imagine the level of confidence you would actually need to have in order to buy something. If you're putting a huge chunk, the biggest chunk of your portfolio into this project, imagine what type of news, what type of alpha you would do. You would probably talk to different people into TG chat and things like that. And to be honest, this is something that you have to be doing for each and every project you hold. It's just that when you have 15, 20, 25 things, you don't want to do it naturally because like I have 20 projects already, I just throw some funds into it and the day after you sell out of it, right? It does not make sense in the first place. Make sure you concentrate to bets. Make sure to look into these things because memes, from my point of view, they should also be doing very, very well. And these are the older memes out there that will have the option to recover nicely. I'm not specifically talking here about Ethereum. I gave you several picks on Solana too. I think some things in Hyperliquid might be doing quite well. Some things on Base, I mentioned Bread, and there are definitely some OG Base coins that will be receiving this liquidity with people taking profits from Bread and repositioning to something lower. This is something that 100% will be happening as well. It's just that we're in this very weird pocket on the market where this opportunity is actually present, right? And it's not like that bearish anymore. So it's not like you trying to sell and short like each and every bounce on there and things like that. Despite the fact that I do believe that end of the week might be quite bearish. Thank you very much for watching this one. If you received any value from this video, make sure to press the like button. Stay healthy and rich, and I shall be seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.